Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Just about 7 minutes after 10 on this beautiful Saturday. It's all about Speaking Mind Saturdays right here with Carrie V on Freedom 106.5 FM. And just as I promised before, I have a very special, beautiful guest with me today. Yes, all the ladies who join here are very beautiful, I must say. And you fit the description. I'm just saying. I am here with Nyssa Mendoza. She is a psychiatrist. Psychologist. And she has experience in the field of gaming. And today we are going to be discussing health and wellness of a gamer and parental guidance. Welcome to Freedom 106.5 FM. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Nice. So, now for the listeners who don't really know you, give me a quick, brief background of yourself. How long have you been into this field?
Okay, so I just want to correct with the psychiatrist. So some people think psychiatry and psychology is the same thing.
It isn't?
Not.
What?
The psychiatry is basically a medical doctor, and I could prescribe drugs.
Right.
So that's the one who will give you the drugs,
drugs.
for the mental health issues.
Right.
But the psychologists are like talk therapists.
Oh, right. No, just like you mentioned there, a lot of us, and I'm saying us because I fell in that category. You know, we didn't really understand the difference between the two, but that's okay. Thank you so much for clearing that up.
That's good.
And how long have you been doing psychology, and what gravitated you towards gaming?
Okay, so I've been in this field probably for 14 years or more. I would have, of course, gone through the whole tertiary education and into the master's program and etc. So my actually specialty is in marriage and family.
Oh, nice.
Right, and I got into gaming like most parents do sometimes. Your child is interested in it and you're like, what is this about?
Yes.
And that's how I got into the gaming aspect.
Wow.
Just observing how he was interacting, what he was drawn to, the friends he was talking to, everything like that via the games.
Yes.
And I was like, how can this relate, or how can this benefit, and how can the therapeutic relationship benefit from gaming?
Right.
And so I got into the world of Minecraft. And I recognized and realized that I could interact with clients through the Minecraft game.
You know, let me say a special good morning going out to Akil O'Connor. I big you up one time, same way. You know, last night my 12-year-old daughter was playing some kind of farm game.
Farmcraft.
Not Farmcraft.
Grow a garden.
That is it. And if you see, and she explaining these things to me, and I remember what Akil told me last week, Carrie, you know, just kind of give her a little ease up now. And I sat there. Now, even though I didn't understand half the things she was saying, you know, she built an entire a garden, and she and it's something about 1.2 million something. I was like, yo, this is mind blowing. And I told her, I said, what about Farmcraft? Yeah, Farmcraft. Yeah, go play that. I mean, I hear that good, and I was like, I'm getting it there. So big up Akil. She's going to be playing Farmcraft eventually, making some money because I want some US, you know. But
there's a good learning games, you know.
It is.
I know your previous guests like Akil and Aaron, and they were talking about, you know, the educational aspects of those games, and it's legit. It's legitimately.
But that's really nice.
Learning.
That's really nice. So let's get into it.
Sure.
What are some of the most common mental health issues faced by gamers today?
Okay, so we're diving in deep.
Yeah, one time. I need to know.
I would say, you know, if they are professional gamers especially, you're going to find that it's a very intense, a very competitive field. Like any sports is competitive. So you're going to find it's a high pressure environment. You're going to find where you need to kind of balance between the real world and the online world.
So we shouldn't say fake world.
No, it's not fake.
Okay, it's not fake.
It's just online.
Online. Okay, all right.
It's a creative world.
We work with that. We work with that.
And they would also have the same things, like the impact on their performance,
right,
the impact on their resilience, anything where they are being under a spotlight, they want to perform, so anxiety. And then, of course, that lovely word we sometimes like to throw out, where it's addiction, of how much is too much in terms of playing. And all of that will, you know, impact on our mental health.
Yeah.
Our emotional and our social well-being, actually.
Okay, right. And how does that relate to kids, teenagers playing games?
Okay. So first I want to say, you know, with anything, you must have some kind of moderation. We have moderation where it's a benefit, and then there is excessive where there are risks involved. Now, learning through fun and learning through gaming, which is one of, and I remember, if you remember, Akil talked about NASEF.
Yes.
Right? And that's the formal aspect of Scholastic Esports. There are many societies, Carrie, that learn through fun, learn through play. We have, of course, Finland, Sweden, Norway, New Zealand, and we look up to these cultures like, oh, this is fun. Do we have to stick into this academic aspect of early education where you have to learn how to count on paper?
Right.
So they learn through fun. Right. Then you see cultures like the Asian cultures, China, Japan, South Korea, where they take your, how should I put it, day-to-day skills,
right,
and they put it into a game or they make it into fun, right? All esports is doing is taking that from the physical into the online.
Right. So now that you brought that to our attention, how does prolonged gaming affect like sleep, mood, and attention span, especially when it comes to the online aspect of it? Because what we have been seeing, and even through COVID and after COVID, we've noticed that our children or kids or teenagers are more gravitating towards the online aspect of life, and I'm putting that in air commas.
Right.
How would that affect their sleep or even their mood or even their attention span or does it affect them?
It does if it's in excessive. Like remember first I said moderation to excessive use. So if it's excessive where as soon as they wake up, their eyes open is in front of the game.
Right.
And it's, so you ain't brush your teeth. You ain't make up your bed. You're going straight to the game.
Right.
Right? You ain't eat breakfast.
Well, that happens.
Right? Nothing like that. It's going to take its toll on you.
Right.
Right? And this is where setting times and limits to play is important. And it's something that both the child or the child, the teenager, and the parents need to monitor.
Right.
You have to set limits regardless.
Well, true.
Right?
True.
There is a point where you have to do your real world responsibilities before you start to game.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So there's this acronym called GAMERS. GAMERS.
Right.
Gamers.
Right.
And the G stands for growth.
Right.
Are you, this is again being responsible, are you taking the time to engage in your day-to-day activities? Are you taking time to increase your academic pursuits first before you game? Are you looking at taking care of your surroundings, your environment, your health? Gamers need to have exercise just as much as anybody else. You need to be able to move.
I remember, not to cut you across, I remember Akil spoke about it sometime that in the gaming clubs that they have, you must take some time to go exercise, go outside. I think it's about 20 minutes or something. Stretch. Stretch.
Yeah.
Right?
Some people may not want to go outside and run. They may walk, okay, but you could stretch.
But you can even do it home inside, like just do some jumping jacks or something. Get up and go. Okay, right. So that is the GA. What is the M?
Mind.
Mind.
Do you get enough rest?
Right.
Relaxation, sleep to recharge your mind.
Wow.
Right?
And
so
the
you're good.
Yeah.
You're
The
following.
E. Again,
Nice.
no, I'm really interested in it because the first time, and as I will always say, the first time I heard about the esports and, all about it was a few weeks ago, maybe about a month and a half ago. And I didn't know that this world existed, especially here in Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm very interested to hear everything about it.
That's
so
good.
let's get back into E.
Environment. Your physical environment, though. Is it safe? Is it comfortable? Is it, for parents, decluttered? If you have to be always behind your child, pick up your clothes, clean your area, clean your bedroom, right? It should be decluttered. It should be a environment just like if you were, as you mentioned, during COVID, the area that you would sit to do your schoolwork should have been clean, should have been, safe enough, the environment conducive for studying.
Right.
It's the same kind of environment conducive for playing.
Right. Environment.
Environment.
And the R?
Relationships.
Mm.
Right. Have you nurtured your real world connections
Well, no one says it's not an online thing here, you know.
before gaming? Now, you know,
Wow.
people would say, okay, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Right? Where, of course, for people who are like introverts or people who have anxiety, who can't connect with people in the real world, the gaming does help.
Right.
It does offer a kind of community and social connection aspect to it. But the priority should always be the real world.
The real world, true. And let me just ask you a question on that. For someone who has anxiety or someone who's an introvert or someone who, you know, don't really have that type of interpersonal communication or even interpersonal skills, as a gamer, how can they, you know, step into the real world and you know, touch on their relationship and work on it? How can they do that? Do you know?
Yes. So let's start from the gaming.
Right.
The gaming community can also meet physically.
Oh, yes.
So you
yes.
start with an interest, like-minded people who share this interest, who I can connect with online, I can connect with offline.
Oh.
So you start there.
No,
You
but
can
that
talk
makes
about
sense. Because we
when
have something to talk about.
correct. Even
Right?
even teenagers. So your group of friends that you have online. Perhaps, you know, if you all decide, I think Akil used to talk about when they used to meet up at different places to play in cafes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can meet up there and then have a real world discussion on strategies
on the game.
and you could play in the cafes. So
Yeah,
you're
that
coming
makes
kind of
sense.
out of your house.
You know, now that you mention it, you know, and that is a very good tip for the introverts and the persons who into gaming and, you know, you don't really like to deal with people, but that's a good start.
Yes, a good
because when
start,
we go by the internet cafe, like just say, for instance, you know, if me and you like the same character, we could talk about that. We could talk about,
Correct.
hey, that making sense. That making real sense, you know.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
could say how to upgrade them as well. And then you start a conversation. Is that's that foot in the door, that one step.
That making sense.
You know?
That making sense. So, guys, listen, I know you're not, for those who are now joining us, we are here with Nyssa Mendoza, a psychologist, and she's versed in gaming as well. And, of course, I know you may have questions, so you can send me a message via WhatsApp 306-1065, or you can give us a call. You can ask her a question. The parents, grandparents listening, I know you would like to speak to her. Get in contact with us. Give us a call, 625-2257 or 627-3223. Or you can send me a message via WhatsApp, 306-1065. Can gaming be addictive? What are the psychological signs of gaming addiction? What is that?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if I like a game, I mean, I could be playing it all the time.
Well, Carrie, anything could be addictive,
Not
right?
true, huh?
How many cups of coffee you think you have in a day?
Well, I'm not really a coffee fan,
Tea?
but I can tell you how much,
Coca-Cola.
yeah.
Yeah. Same caffeine.
Damn. I thought
Same
like a 3 or 4.
But yes, gaming can be addictive because remember, for those who may not know,
right.
I need to stop saying remember.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
That's okay.
For persons who may not know, there is this lovely chemical in our brain called dopamine. It's a neurotransmitter. It's one of those trending words.
Right.
And well, dopamine needs a reward to kick in. And sometimes gaming is a pleasurable activity. It's satisfying. It gives us this jolt of, I like doing this. And what dopamine will do is say, okay, you get this reward, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And let's do it again. And let's do it again. And again and again and again and again.
And that's how it starts.
That's how,
wow.
yeah. So when we have that boost, that jolt of satisfaction, dopamine tells us, let's do it again. It was nice.
Yeah. And let me see if
Right?
you can get that same
And get that
feeling.
same
oh,
feeling.
and you go chasing it. And that happens with the game,
That
right?
happens with the games because remember, it's bright.
Right.
Right? I remember it's bright, it's engaging, the songs, everything that they say, draws children in. That's why cartoons are, a little addictive too, in that regard.
True.
They know what they're doing. There's a career path in this that says, and they study this and they say, the psychology of color and songs
Yeah.
and
It
it's
impacts
engaging.
us.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
So part of gaming too is that you're getting not just the lights and the songs and the action, but you're accomplishing something.
Right.
you also have, this is a world that you have control over to an extent. So think of the same person who is a little introvert or anxious. Right? And, or someone who, let's say, may not have like a high self-esteem.
Right.
I'm playing a game, I'm winning, I'm advancing.
And
I'm going
like
to get that boost. I'm going to get that jolt of, I'm doing a good thing here. You know, I'm going to engage. And I want to do it again because it makes me feel good. It feels very nice. Right?
I like that, you know. And, you know, how can a gamer or even parents notice this addiction to the game, and what can they do to, you know, kind of steer the teenagers out, or even yourself as an adult, because it happens as an adult too.
So I asked my son that question a time actually in talking to him. I was like, how do you know you're getting addicted to the game? And he's like, well, Ma, you know, if you're grinding, is okay.
You see these words and terms they just come up with? I don't know.
Grinding the game is okay. That means you
what
take
does
a
that
little
mean?
you take a little time, you play this one, you engage for the, again, remember we talk about time limit, a set time limit. To just go off on a little side note, when we go to football practice or when we go to karate or swimming, it's a time limit.
It's a time,
We are there, we drop you for 10 a.m., we pick you back up at 11 a.m. And it's the same thing for gaming. What time limit are you going to give to this game? Right? So grinding is okay.
Grinding is okay. So grinding is the time limit.
Well, grinding is not the time limit per se, but it's just like you're okay with this part. You're not going beyond. It's not like 6 or 8 hours a day.
So how much will it be like about an hour?
It will be based on the individual, you know, and how long that game goes. I give a limit of 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
Out of exam period.
Okay.
So right now we have exam period. All schools doing some sort of exam end of term.
Right.
So that has to kind of boil down.
Okay. So we're grinding.
So grinding is okay. Back to the question.
Okay.
But if you're constantly engaged in one particular game for several hours, no bueno.
Oh.
And it's not just, so for example, Roblox are many games within a game.
Right, yeah.
Okay? And it's okay if you might play Grow a Garden.
Right.
And then you may play something with
Build a
house.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, you know, navigating and you're going, you
jump in. But I mean, it's the same game though.
It is, but it's different concepts.
Okay, I got you.
All right?
All right.
But if it's this one game going down into the abyss where you're going down into it for 7-8 hours on a Saturday, like the same thing I said, you wake up at 9 o'clock and then you realize it's 9 o'clock in the night.
Wow.
You haven't showered, you haven't eaten, you haven't connected to real people, right? And you're really behind that game, then
that's
it's something.
Addiction. And that is what parents can look for, out for. To look at the type of game that they're playing and how often they play it. Is it that way?
It's both, yeah.
All right. So I'm seeing that we have a voice note here.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Let's hear who would like to share what they think. Yeah, let's get it in.
Hi, Carrie V. Good morning.
Hey.
I'm a gamer and I'm very much balanced.
Aye. Very nice. I like that. Well, what's your name and where you from? He's a gamer and you're balanced. And, you know, as he mentioned balanced, right? I wanted to ask you something about that as well. You know, how important is it to balance in a gamer's daily routine? And what does a healthy gaming schedule look like? Because, I mean, we didn't want to play a game from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We didn't shower. We didn't eat. We didn't drink some water, nothing. We didn't get up and stretch. But what does a schedule look like? So you mentioned that you have a schedule, especially when it comes to exam. It's it's 2 hours. Is it outside of exams? It's 2 hours. What does a schedule look like? What does a regular one looks like?
Okay, so I'll take it from this angle. When you go to play football or cricket,
right?
What time do you do it? How much hours do you give to it?
How much days of the week you give it?
How much days of the week you give to it? So in the gaming, now gaming does have the ability, because you're not going out
right.
and you're home, that you will gravitate to playing a little longer.
Right.
So let's go with the moderation. Set limits on your gaming time. Right. Ensure it doesn't interfere with schoolwork. If we're talking about the young ones now, right? Or work.
Right. Work.
Right. And again, if it was a physical sport, there would be a time limit.
Yes.
Balance. Real world activities and social interactions should be the priority.
Right.
Even if you're talking about the game and you're strategizing about the game in a real world interaction. Self-awareness, recognizing when the game is becoming excessive and unhealthy.
Right.
Is it interfering with those same daily activities, sleeping, bathing, eating, your social relationships?
Right.
Is it interfering with it where you prefer to be in the game, or you realize the game is sucking you in,
right.
and you haven't checked in with your friends or your
Right.
family, or had a conversation with a real life person in life, in real
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And then positive online interactions. You have to choose games that promote positive social connections, because we know there are the toxic environments online as well.
Yeah.
The cyberbullying, the harassments, the deep dark web of gaming,
Yeah.
right?
That sounds scary.
It is scary. It's very scary.
Wow.
And then so we didn't get to the S in gamers, remember?
Right. Yeah.
And the S was your sustenance to your body.
Sustenance, right, yeah.
Have you provided a healthy sustenance to your body by eating and drinking enough water prior to game, to getting having a healthy diet? We had one of your guests who used to survive on hot dogs alone.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I like hot dogs, but
can't
I mean,
survive
you
on
can't
hot dogs
survive.
alone.
True.
Right? So the healthy diet, because again, all these positive things in terms of cognitive development, in terms of your planning, your solving, decision making, the brain needs the energy and fuel to do it.
I mean, talking about the energy drinks, eh?
No.
I just put that out there. I mean, talking about that.
Your fruits and vegetables.
Yes, it works. Okay. Now, I saw someone calling, but I didn't want it to cut you across.
Okay.
So give us that call, 625-2257 or 627-3223. If you're now joining us, we are here with Nyssa Mendoza. She's a psychologist, and she's an expert when it comes to gaming and how health and wellness plays a role or plays a part in whether it's yourself or even the kids. Let's get that call, 625-2257 or 627-3223. I saw you calling, but I couldn't cut her across. All right, but let me just get this voice note here really quickly from the same person who sent us before.
I'm from Penal. My name is Tamal, and I'm 10 years old.
Tamal, man. Tamal from Penal. Thanks so much for all the love, and I love how you know about balance, and I
Yes.
love how you can get that schedule going, man. That's nice. Tamal. Thanks so much for that. Well, let's continue until we get the call back.
Sure, I can pause once
Yeah.
the call
All right.
comes
So once
in.
the call come in, I will let you know, and we'll have that conversation with them.
You- I think you were asking to Carrie how parents can monitor
yes,
or
yes,
get involved,
yes.
right? And I always say, would you allow your child to be in the kitchen cooking or interfering with the stove or a knife? Younger ones,
Yeah.
without any kind of observation or
Supervision.
supervision.
Right.
And it's the same thing with anything that they do. You have to prioritize their well-being at home,
Right.
not being oblivious to what's going on in their social life. And gaming is part of their social life regardless.
Right.
So,
So, we were talking about how can parents notice that they are addicted to the game. So it's based on the game that they are playing. And if they are playing one particular game for a long period of time, they can notice that. If they are not...
and they're playing that for a long period of time and they're neglecting the
everything
basic
else. Oh,
health and basic interaction.
nice. So you hear that, parents? We ain't saying just go on and unplug the internet and unplug the games and things. We ain't saying that. But monitor your kids. Notice the different changes. Notice that they're not speaking to their friend who is the best friend from since Christ was a little boy. Notice these things and reach out to them. And what can they do if they notice that their child, or even if you notice that you are addicted to the game, what can you do to come out of that addiction?
That's a multifaceted question because addiction hits everyone differently. And it's based on their individual motivation as well as their support. So a person, let's take it from the youths. A parent recognizes, well, my son and daughter is engaged in this particular game a little bit too much.
Right.
It's beyond the 5-hour marker.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the evening when they don't even say good afternoon, if that's still allowed in households. And
Yeah.
and you know, they go straight into their room or on the computer, their laptop, their phone, whatever their device, and you recognize they're just playing this game, interacting, chatting perhaps, because you could listen in if they're chatting.
Yeah.
And it's 10 o'clock. Okay, they have no choice. You might say, okay, it's time to shut down. But then you may have gotten up at 2 o'clock in the morning to have a cup of water or to use the bathroom, and you realize there's a glowing light coming from below the sheets.
Yeah.
Right? And they're still playing.
Wow.
So it's impacting their rest. It's impacting their sleep. We need that sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. You need to be in REM sleep by that time.
Well, yes, as you should be. Yes.
And
All
you're
right.
not getting that rest.
Okay.
So what do you do to engage? Let's see. Are they involved in any other activities? Can they be involved in other activities? 1. 2, you put down your foot where the limit is concerned.
Right.
If it is that they need to come and give you that device at a certain time, then take it away. We pay for it already, so why we can't take it away?
We can take it away now, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only right. Yeah, because you're listening.
Right. What is the repercussion to these behaviors? And that's in anything, Carrie, in general. What are the repercussions?
Right.
Have conversations. Let them decide, or at least have an input in what my punishment will be if I disobey this.
Right. That makes sense.
That works well for all ages. Of course, you have to tweak it a little bit.
Well, yeah.
The 5-year-old punishment might be something different from the 15-year-old. But, you know, in saying, okay, you want to teach them autonomy. We want to teach our kids some kind of leadership.
Right.
Self-confidence. High self-esteem. Motivating yourself to do better, where I don't have to be over you for you to do it. Right? We want to do all these wonderful attributes and characteristics. But how do we implement it? And part of implementing it is having that discussion, whereby this is the behavior. If you do X, this is the result. If you do Y, this is the result. So they kind of have an idea of what to expect. And they can't be like, well, I hate you, or you don't understand me, or
you never tell me that. You never explain that.
You never tell me that.
Yes. Yeah, we know who those be. Right? So, okay, so we got to take a really quick break. But let me just remind our listeners to give us a call when we come back. 625-2257. Notice that, you know, the child kind of slipping in terms of getting into the game. Meaning, you know, that the game is more or less consuming them. Can we say that?
Yes.
Is that a good term
I
to
think
use?
so. It's better than saying addiction.
Yeah, I kind of don't like the word addiction. But
we could use the word consumption.
Yes, I love that. Okay, we'll do that. So let's get back into it. We want to talk about performance and mental fitness in gaming. And after, we're going to talk about the parental guidance and family concerns. So to top off on mental fitness in gaming, and guys, sorry, let me just say, listen, send me a message via WhatsApp, 306-1065. And of course, you can give me a call. I know you have questions to ask. I'm going to call her Miss Mendoza, but you don't look like a Miss Mendoza. You look like a Nyssa.
Yes.
You look like Nyssa. You can call Nyssa. You can call us at 625-2257 or 627-3223. Let me see here. Hey, Carrie V, your idea to have varied programming is good, but the majority of your audience is of a mature variety. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. However, the grandchildren and the children playing game, and all they want to do is stop them from playing the game. So this is the program for them to listen. Thanks so much for that. Sorry, I just had to. Yeah. Because we know some of, and I'm saying even my mama, and my mom is what, how old mommy is what, 65, 66 or something like that. You know, when my children are playing games or my nieces are playing games, you know, she just be like, why are they playing the game so long, and why are they doing this, and come off of the phone, and you know. But as I mentioned, my daughter is playing the farm game. She's playing she plays Roblox as well, and the Minecraft. But as I said, they are only seeing it as a game. They don't know the benefits it have in playing these games. So
True.
So yeah, this program is for those persons exactly. All
and
right?
to bridge the generational gap.
Yeah. So don't shut it down now. Don't knock it before you hear it out. Just saying. So let's get into it. What role does mental focus play in high level gaming or even esports? What mental focus?
Focus, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's of course decision making. In these games, you have to be able to decide quickly. So it's the decision-making aspect of it, your cognitive functioning, making it easier to think clearly and make better decisions under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Because in some of the games, and I know we're talking, because our kids are playing the Minecraft and the Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about high performance, the professional esport gamer,
Right.
they have to be able to make those decisions under pressure.
Quickly.
And so reaction time.
Yeah.
And like I said quickly, because
And
it's
critical
reaction
thinking
time.
as well. I remember Akil mentioned that whole critical thinking thing is a big aspect, and that actually forms a person's mind
It does.
into thinking critically one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Quickly you said, right? So
Yeah.
we talk, that's reaction time. In some of these games, you have to move faster. You have to be accurate with your reflexes. And that is crucial in esports. Have you ever sat and watched how those professional esports persons carry?
And I can't wait to go.
Do the combinations?
No, I
It's
can't
like
even
X
keep
plus
it.
Y plus Z plus, and it's like, what?
I
The
told
combinations are like
Akil
wild.
I told Akil that I can beat him in a game. No, that is in my mind.
In your mind.
In my mind. But yeah, I sure I could press up some buttons one time.
And they're just pressing a button.
Yeah, and I could
it's not.
possibly win.
It's combinations, and they have to do it fast. It's critical in that esports arena.
Okay.
They have to do it really fast. And then it's teamwork, especially if it's a group, if it's a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
They have to be able to have that kind of communication. So you still have to be able to communicate effectively and support each other in the game.
Right. Well,
Right?
I mean that's big. Yeah.
So the social connection is there too. So when they talk about it's just a game, and you have a sense of belonging, you have a sense of togetherness, you have the opportunity, if it's multiplayer games, to connect with others, teamwork, communication. You're getting all of that through playing this game.
Now, are there any psychological techniques that gamers can use to improve their performance or even reduce stress while playing?
One of the things is to practice mindfulness.
Mindfulness. What is that?
Mindfulness. So mindfulness is basically trying to be in the present moment. There are exercises like the breathing exercises or grounding techniques that persons use. Even physical performance athletes use it as well, into getting into that head space, into getting into the zone, as they call it, whereby understanding and feeling what is around you, the environment that you're in. If it's not conducive, your mind, which is we know is a powerful tool, allows you to concentrate and focus or zone in to the present.
Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
mindfulness is.
Okay.
So when I say practice mindfulness, is bringing you back to reality and in the present moment, not straying too much to the past. So like if you have anxiety, right, you may not have performed well in your past competition, and so it kind of a little anxious now, because when am I going to make the same mistake? Am I going to be able to react as I wanted to react? Am I going to be able to score? Because some of these competitions is big money.
I know, and
Big
even
money.
the feeling of being the winner of this
yes,
game,
you're-
that's a big thing
It
for
is.
some people.
It is.
Wow.
It's
All
big,
right. Okay.
So you want to be in the moment. You want to try, and that's where the mindfulness comes in, when you're having these breathing techniques or grounding techniques, whereby the past does not influence your current performance.
Right. Nice. No, let me just let's jump to the parental guidance and concerns that some parents have. And listen, I know you are listening right now, your grandchild or your child plays these games. I know you have some questions for Nyssa, so get those questions in. Give us a call at 625-2257 or 627-3223. You can even send me a message via WhatsApp 306-1065. What are some healthy screen time limits for kids and teens who enjoy gaming, like the healthy ones, the healthy times?
Yes. Because I mean, we were talking about the addiction.
Yeah.
But there is a fine line between addiction and specialization.
Right. Tell us more about
Right?
that.
So I think I would have mentioned roughly anything more than 5 hours can possibly go into the addiction realm.
Right.
If you're trying to specialize in one,
In a particular game, I mean,
5
it'll be
hours,
more.
shouldn't be. No, 5 hours is good. 5 hours daily, because
Right.
you're trying to learn, you're trying to practice.
And you're trying to be the
And you're
best
trying to
at
be the
that
best at-
particular game.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
So anything like 5 and under is fine. If it's not a professional esports person, and it's just because it is a stress relief, playing games is a stress reliever, and so you can have the limit of 2 hours,
Right.
anywhere between 2 to 5 hours. Again, if it's not impacting on daily functioning activities.
Right. Okay. So you heard that. So
Daily functioning activities is what you and your household are accustomed to or have decided this is what we're going to do. Because you
Right.
might be listening to this program now and say, I never give it a boundary. I never set a limit. Now is the time you can sit and have that conversation.
I feel I had to sit and have this conversation with my daughter. I feel so because I mean,
And let the children, teenagers, allow them to have an input. Ask questions. Questions do 3 things. I tell my clients all the time. Questions confirm something that you already know. You might think it, so parents will be like, well, you're just wasting time.
right.
And so if your child says, well, yeah, I can't do nothing now, wasting time, it confirms it, right?
Yeah.
The question also denies it. Well, no, mommy, I'm not wasting time. I'm actually learning and I'm putting together this for school or for my friends, whatever the case may be. Or I entered into a competition, mommy, and this is what I have to do to it, for it.
Right.
So I need the time. Again, communication as well for the kids that are listening, like Tamal. Tamal,
Yes,
right?
Tamal.
Who said he have a balance. It's okay to say, mommy.
And he's only 10.
I know it. It's okay to say, ma, they have this competition coming up and I just need a few hours to do it. Again, mature conversation. I know for even a 10-year-old, that might be a mature conversation, but it's still something that they're engaging with their parents.
Yeah.
Right? So asking that question will deny that you think they're wasting time.
Because
And then the third thing that a question does, which I love, is that it introduces a new perspective. Be like, see, you had it there.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But the eyes are a good thing.
The eyes are a good thing.
It introduced a new perspective.
It is.
So having that conversation with your children or your teenager, even your significant other, because some of them, they are playing as well, is, having the conversation is all about forming what you want for your family, forming what you want for yourself.
Because what I was going to ask you, and you basically answered the question before I asked you, right? I was going to ask you, how can parents set effective boundaries without damaging trust or communication? And it's just questions. If you notice something, just have a conversation. And at 10, 11, 12, you can have a conversation with your child. And you can be open enough to hear them, because it have some parents, the child would want to say what's happening and they would shut it down, like me sometimes, and that's before getting involved or understanding the role that gaming plays and how big it is, right? How big of an industry it is, because Akil O'Connor said that it is bigger than the entertainment industry.
It is.
And I didn't know that. And a lot of parents out there don't know that. They only see it as you're just playing game and you're wasting time. But parents, grandparents, come down from there a little bit. Let's hear our kids, let's hear our grandkids, and hear them out, open-minded. And I think that's what we need.
Children just want to be listened to, just like adults. Don't we want to be heard?
Yes.
That's why sometimes there are shouting matches, because we want to be heard.
Shouting matches.
Yes, we want to be heard, but children want to be heard too, and they want to know that their parents support something that they're interested in.
Yeah.
And support doesn't mean that you have to buy the devices or give them the tools.
Right.
Sometimes it's just listening to what they've created. I listened, my son the other day, for the same farm craft aspect, built a whole rainforest.
What?
A whole rainforest with thunder and lightning.
What were you saying?
I'm telling you. I was like, all of this with a secret compartment for the ores below to heat up the factory. And I'm like, bruh.
Oh, he's an engineer.
Well, that's part of what esports does too in it. It has an engineering component to it.
Yes, well, that's really good. That's good. So What advice do you have for parents who don't understand gaming culture or even the appeal of gaming? Because I really want us to, I really want parents and grandparents to understand this. What advice do you have for them?
Okay. So like you as well, the parents who are listening, I didn't understand the appeal myself. Yes, I played a little games. I would have played like Zuma. I like hidden object games. That used to be my stress relief. I know it's been a while. And I used to play Tetris back in the days, those old school type ones.
Yeah.
I've never really got into the Mario Karts and the FIFA and things like that. But I liked games that allowed me to have a sense of, I just stress relief. It took out a little bit of the pressure, finding these hidden objects and etc. But this is the world that we are living in. I remember in the show, I think it was a Three-Body Problem. Yes, Three-Body Problem, when the aliens was saying that within such a short space of time, humanity, technology grew beyond what they took years or decades or centuries to accomplish.
Okay.
Gaming has been around since the 1950s. It was regulated and all the processes, and it became into the esports arena like in the 1980s. In 30 years' time. And now we're in 2025, and although we're catching up, the world has been, international communities have been having these major tournaments.
With plenty, billions of dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those who were playing in the 80s, right? Those who were playing in the 80s, the teenager who was playing in the 80s, went on to form content, went on to have coding, went on to create things that we use today.
Right.
Drones, AI,
Mm-hmm.
robotics. They created those.
Wow.
This is the importance of understanding the future of to where gaming will take you, where esports will take you, where Scholastic esports will take you. It has the academic component with the learning and fun component. Right? And this is why it's important. This is the world our children, for parents, our grandchildren, for grandparents. This is the world they are creating for themselves.
And we can't stop it, because this is what it is. Wow. I have a message here. Good morning, Carrie V. Good morning to your beautiful guest. The informative topic. Another thing needs to highlight for the young generation is balance, because some children can have priority confusion, where school assignments, homework duties are sometimes neglected because they're so caught up in the games.
Yes.
So how can they?
And I go back to Mal said it.
Yeah.
He said, I am a gamer and I balance. Right? And that's part of, that was what that G was for the person who are now entering when we were talking about growth, is have you accomplished your school and personal responsibilities for the day to ensure continual growth and progress before gameplay.
So that's where the G in gamers come in.
Growth.
But if the teenager, right? Because we know how they can be sometimes. Like they haven't taken on nothing with no schoolwork or anything like that. How can we get them to think like that to make their schoolwork a priority rather than a minority? How can we get them to think like that, or what can a parent do to ensure this is happening? Is it the boundaries?
It goes back to the boundaries. It goes back to having that conversation aspect. Sometimes I wonder, Carrie, to myself and sometimes out loud, when we are involved in the primary school level, we're ensuring that they go to lessons, or we're sitting, there are parents who sit with their children after work, after school, then doing the homework, engaging in the responsibility of that aspect, showing them how to, solve problems or how to read.
Right.
Reading to them when they're a little smaller, infants, etc. When SEA comes around, we are involved. We're ensuring, for those of us that are heavily involved, that they are fed well, that they rest well, that if we may not have the skill set, we get the networking skill set for it, etc. And then Form 1 comes and we drop out.
Yeah, true. the healthy breakfast and go out away.
We drop out.
It's no.
Right?
Yeah, what you want to eat today?
They're transitioning.
Yeah.
Primary school, as we know, 4 to 5 main subjects. They go into secondary school, 9 to 12 subjects. But we drop out as parents. We don't give that support anymore.
Yeah.
We don't ensure. We expect that at Form 1, Form 2, even at Form 3, that they're college students.
Yeah, and they could do it for
don't
themselves.
grasp that concept and they can't do it for themselves. So we still have to be involved, even more so because so much things are being thrown at them.
You know, now that you broke it down like that, you is it truth, you know? Because after Standard 5, after they do SE and they reach in Form 1, it's just like, all right, cool, you go about your business, more or less. And, you know, we don't pay particular attention to our kids when they reach Form 1, Form 2, because we're thinking that, hey, you're a big kid now, you know, so sort out the thing for yourself. And I must admit it because it is what happens. Yeah?
So you want to do something tangible? Study timetable. A Form 1, Form 2 person, even Form 3 and into Form 4 may never have heard of, well, what is a study timetable? Or what is their schedule like?
Right.
Right? You could do it on a computer, you could do it on a whiteboard. Monday to Friday or to Saturday and Sunday, what is your schedule? School is from maybe 7:30, depending. We're talking about transportation time too, till about 2:30, 3, maybe 3:30.
Yeah.
Then what activity are you involved in from 3:30 to, let's say, 5:30? Is it that you are in an extracurricular activity?
Right.
Is it that they have to come and sit and work with you?
Right.
Is it that they have to go by the grandparents? Right? What is the afternoon activities? And therefore, in that time period, the break between doing homework, if that's the decision, between school and homework time, maybe you could play some game.
Okay.
Or do your homework first. And then you could play some game.
Right.
What time is bedtime? Are they getting the required hours of sleep? Right? If bedtime is 10 o'clock during the school week and maybe 11 o'clock on the weekend, even on the weekend, okay, from 5 to 7 is probably revision time.
Yeah.
Or homework time. Right?
When when my daughter was younger, we used to have Friday and Saturday is your free day. When I say a free day, you do whatever you want.
Right.
On a Sunday, when we get up in the morning, breakfast,
Right.
lunch, everything. So by 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that is when it's time to do some homework.
Right.
Till like
I'm
about
similar
5.
too.
Yeah. And then in the evening, you can watch a little TV till about 7. You bed, and 8 o'clock on the dot is bed.
Bedtime.
Lights out, no phone, no tablet, nothing. And bet your bottom dollar, that created a routine for my daughter. And not 8 o'clock, sometimes 1 minute past 8, you knock out.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's good because you're building routine. And life is about routines.
Yeah.
We get up. We bathe, we brush our teeth, right? Coffee, tea.
Yeah.
And some people Coca-Cola.
Hello. Hi, good day.
Right?
Yes.
And then we go to work, we go to school. And I always tell my son, your job is to go to school. That's your job. That's preparing you for the world of work.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yeah.
School. My job, wherever I am, that's my job.
Yeah.
Right? And so we each have our schedule and our routine whereby this is what we have to do.
Someone sent a message here that said, good morning to you ladies. My grandson plays Minecraft all the time with his friends for hours, and I have no problem. I told him he's addicted to the game, but he is in denial, so I limit his use. He gets angry and behaves like a drug addict.
Withdrawal syndrome.
That's withdrawal.
Perhaps if that's withdrawal.
So how can she deal with something like that?
It's continuous and it's repetitive.
Right.
Anything you start now in terms of limits, in terms of boundaries, in terms of time, is going to take the while to kick in.
Oh.
Right? So people say, well, I tried it. And well, how long did you try for it? Well, I tried once and it didn't work.
Nah, you have to keep trying it.
You have to keep trying it, yes. It has to become now that routine that you talked about,
right.
Carrie.
So talk to Granny. Tell her what she can do.
So
Grandma.
one thing is, if you're taking away the Minecraft, what are you exchanging it with?
Oh. A substitute.
What are you exchanging it with? Is he coming to help you in the kitchen or in the garden? Is he playing chess or checkers with you? Are you ensuring that he's reading? Because boys really need to read some more.
Yeah.
Right? It helps in a lot of developmental skills, especially with their creative writing and in their communication. So what do you replace it with, Granny?
Figure that out.
Perhaps this is the time to have family game.
Oh,
A board game.
and this was a question I was coming with, and I'm watching the time, but I'm going to squeeze it in one time, right? Are there any benefits for families who play games together?
Of course, that's exceptional in terms of even if it's the online game or the board game. But I know we're talking about esports.
Yeah.
So yes, it's great when families are getting involved in that aspect.
Nice.
In terms of playing. And again, too, Carrie, the time. We're going to play Sunday evenings at 3.
Yeah.
We're going to have family game night on a Friday,
Right.
6 o'clock.
That could create a routine.
It creates routine.
So you see that?
Both
like,
children and adults.
just like that, and the problem solved, You know the problem solved there?
You're talking to one another because, of course, you're trying to say, nah, boy, no.
Yeah,
And
right,
you're like,
right.
oh, look, my carrot's growing higher than yours. Look, I sell my bunch of carrots for $2.
Or-
Your carrot's not good, so it's only $1.
Or you could be like, hey, why don't press X and O together and you'll see what will happen. Teaching, or even the parents or the grandparents as well. So family gaming is a plus.
Yes.
All right. So we could get into that. Now, 5 minutes after 11, 306-1065 or 627-3223 or 625-2257. If you have any questions, you can get those questions in now. As I would be closing off this interview with Nyssa Mendoza, we are talking about health and wellness and parental guidance. She's a psychologist, so she knows her thing. And as sure you're all listening from since Christ was a little boy, she knows her thing. But let me close off with asking, if there's one thing you want parents and gamers to take away from today's conversation, what would it be?
My advocacy is always in healthy communication. I think a lot of the times we misunderstand or we misconstrue because we don't communicate, Carrie. We don't come forward to say, I want to do this, or I would like to do this, or this is how I feel, right? So the takeaway, whenever you're having these conversations or difficult conversations or communication where you want to take away something, what are you going to replace it with? Also, the involvement of all parties. It's okay to ask your child or your grandchild, what do you get out of this game? What do you like about it? What's it? Why is it this so interesting for you? And perhaps let them show you something for just 2 minutes, 3 minutes. In that aspect now, you can see why. Or perhaps even if you don't see why, you still find it always survive.
Yeah, because I really want them. I don't know.
But they will feel more comfortable opening up and coming to you with anything because you took an interest in this thing.
And let me tell you something, guys. Listen, I've tested that last night. I came home from work. I was tired, and my daughter was playing that same farm game. And she's like, Mommy, look, and I was like, So what I mean? And she gone off. But the mere fact that I was there listening, that is what made her, interested and saying, but you want to learn how to play it? You learn how to play it? I was like, no, Robin. But I will show you. So here what to do. Go on download. I was like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow.
You can say that. You can say, well, I'm not interested in learning at this time, but I'm happy that you're excited about it.
And she was very excited. And I said, well, all right, well, I mean, learn how to plant,
She learned how to grow carrots and beetroots and
tell you, it's a big, that's like a whole city she built. And I was like, how long you playing this? Because I didn't know how long she was playing the game. I just know she used to watch those YouTube shorts and them.
That's a whole other topic.
But boy, that's our next topic for another day. But Nyssa, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It was an amazing conversation, and I hope that persons listening would take back your advice that you have, because as Nyssa mentioned, this is where we at now. This is our world now, especially when it comes to online gaming, esports. This is where we at. And instead of shutting down our kids or even our grandchildren, be receptive. Listen, that's the most important thing. And when you get involved in that, you can create boundaries, you can set routines as well. All right, so it's not bad. It's not all bad as you may think it is. It isn't. Just be open-minded.
Yes.
More or less. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having
and
me.
I really do hope that maybe for some other thing, you can join us back again and have discussions, because this is what we do here.
Okay.
We talk a lot.
I enjoyed
All right.
the time here. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much. So, guys, it's just about 9 minutes after 11. That was Nyssa Mendoza, a psychologist, as we were speaking about health and wellness when it comes to gaming and parental guidance. I hope you do take away a lot of what she said today, because it is going to be beneficial for you and your kids, or even your grandkids as well. All right? Just know that esports is not bad. It is not bad.